everyone, today I'm going to talk about TCP congestion control. So what is congestion? It is a state occurring in network layer when the message traffic is so heavy and that it will slows down the network response time. First, I think we should get familiar with some terms that we're going to use along this video today. Sender maximum segment size is the size of the largest segment that the sender can transmit. Receiver maximum segment size is the size of the largest segment that the receiver is willing to accept. These two sizes don't include the TCP header in there. Full size segment is a segment that contains the maximum number of data bytes permitted. Receiver window is the most recently advertised receiver window. Congestion window is a TCP state variable that limits the amount of data the TCP can send. At any given time, a TCP must not send data with a sequence number higher than the sum of the highest acknowledged sequence number and the minimum of congestion window and receiver window. There are two approaches to congestion control. The first one is network-assisted congestion control. This is also called explicit congestion control. What it means is the routers provide explicit feedback to the sender, and it can be done in two ways, as you can see in the picture. The first way is direct network feedback. So direct feedback is sent from the network router to the sender by saying to the sender that, hey, I am congested. And the other way is the more common way occurs when the router updates a packet flowing from a sender to the receiver to indicate the congestion. And the receiver will notify the sender of the indication. The other approach is the end-to-end congestion control. This is also called implicit congestion control because there is no explicit support to the transport layer for congestion control purposes. So the main idea of end-to-end congestion control is if the network is congested, then the sender needs to slow down. It must reduce the transmission rate. If the sender doesn't do so, then the network will remain unstable. Besides that, when packets are received and acknowledged by the receiver, then the sender can say, oh, I can speed up a little bit more. And it can be controlled by the increased algorithm. So after this video, you will be able to answer these two questions. The first one, how do senders react to congestion when it occurs? And how do senders determine the available capacity for a flow at any given point in time? Now we can look at the congestion control algorithm. The first one is slow start. When a TCP connection begins, the value of congestion window is initialized to 1 maximum segment size, and which makes the sending rate of 1 maximum segment size over 1 round trip time. After the acknowledgement number is received, the sending rate is increased double every round trip time until a loss event occurs, and a loss event means a timeout. In case of a timeout, the threshold is set to half of the value of the congestion window values when congestion was detected, and congestion window is set back to 1. Window will start grow exponentially to the threshold and then grow linearly after that. As you can see from the picture over here on the right, the congestion window is processed to 1, so packet 0 is transmitted from the sender to the receiver, and when the sender receives an ACK 1, congestion window is doubled to 2, so 2 packets are sent to the receiver. And when the sender receives the ACK for the previous 2 packets, the congestion window is doubled to 4, so 4 packets is sent to the receiver, and it will continue to do so until a timeout. So when the values of congestion window equals the threshold, then slow start mode stops and TCP goes into congestion avoidance mode. on the entry to the state, the value of congestion window is half of its value when congestion was last encountered. To stay safe, the TCP increases the value of congestion window by 1 maximum segment size per round trip time until a lost event occurs. Here, when a lost event occurs, that means a lost event can be triggered by a triple duplicate act event. And then TCP goes into the fast recovery state. This state is recommended but not required. There are two types of fast recovery. First is TCP reno and the second one is TCP Tahoe. TCP reno congestion window values is calculated as half of the last congestion window values plus 3 because there are 3 acts. And then it continues to grow linearly after that. For TCP Tahoe, the threshold is set as half of the last congestion window values and then start to grow exponentially to threshold and then grow linearly after that. As you can see from the picture on the right, the black line represents TCP reno and the blue line represents TCP Tahoe. In spite of the slow start mode, when the connection begins and let's say that losses are indicated by triple duplicate act rather than the timeout, then TCP congestion control consists of linear increase in congestion window and then halving of congestion window on a triple duplicate act. That's the reason why TCP congestion control is called additive increase and multiplicative decrease. That's all I want to talk about TCP congestion control. Thank you for listening.